Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
And then we're just looking at why you'd have a bad day if you were trading, say, GBP, NZD on these strategies, right? Because these are the pairs to choose from if you're using the intraday strategies. I would not use any of these other pairs purely because their average daily range is much higher. They tend to move a lot more, and these tend to respect a lot of the fundamentals in our testing forward and backwards. So as you look at these are great pairs to stick to that. And again, we're always talking about the daily time frame. If you are going to use a lower time frame, understand when using a strategy like this, where you're getting into volatility sooner, the software will play both sides of the market on the lower time frame, which is riskier, absolutely riskier on instant entry. It's not as risky on precision because it's waiting for later entries. Typically when it hedges, you're happy. But in this case, it works more like a Ferris wheel if you put instant entry strategies on lower time frames. So really stick to the daily when using instant or skip a level. And like I said, these are the pairs. So if you're doing instant, we're choosing only 3 of these. If you are choosing skip a level, again, you're going to be choosing, to use any of these here. You can put all 6 up, just only trade 3 at the same time. And when using smaller balances, only on instant entry, 1K 1 pair, 2K 2 pairs, 3K 3 pairs, 0.01 per 3K. Now, if you're using skip a level, same thing, 0.01 per 3K, except you are going to be able to scan all 6. You're only going to allow trading 3 max at a single time with the max pairs feature. And then if you're using any smaller balances, 1K, trading 1 to 2 max pairs at a single time. And I would still even say 2 is higher risk. I would really stick to 1. And I'll show you the risk and why this is, because risk calculators really make all the difference in understanding the way these pairs move, what's their historical movements, where is your risk set. But let's say smaller balances here below 1K. Again, you're going to really only want to do 1 to 2, and 501, you can do it. It's going to do well, but you got to choose which pair, right? Which one do you want to be your choice of, trading? And please absolutely do not, like I said, use GBP pairs on instant entry or skip a level, anything like this, anything that has higher entries. As you can see, these are just going to give you a bad day if you use them on the precision strategy. Even though there are best performing pairs are on precision, they're the worst performers on instant entry for sure. And just because they move a lot more, and if you get stuck in a trend, it's not pretty using a strategy like that. So I want to make sure people understand that only use these pairs here. You can do your own research and understand your risk and customize things if you wanted to use other pairs. But if you're a new person trying to just have this as a second license, and also remember, this is one of those strategies where the only time I'd really use it is as a second license, because you have to remember your precision account is really more of something that is going to be lower risk in all scenarios. And even if it gets into a weird situation, it's going to recover. It knows how to manage risk properly to, come out of situations by just kind of holding the trades, not deploying more risk, and kind of going in what I call balance protection or chill out mode. Whereas same thing with instant entry, you have those same features, but since you are getting in the market sooner, you are deploying more risk quicker into what could be a potential trend. So it's just why you want to be careful what other pairs you kind of mess around with. But what you can see here, and I was discussing this a little earlier in the call, is you can see right around here is where we really started to use, I'd say, instant entry. NZD CAD was, no, that was on skip a level. We started in 3 there. So yeah, right around here, Euro USD. This is where we started using skip a level here on this account, and absolutely has been making money the last period here, where some other people haven't been getting trades. This last week, it's made money. It's gotten in trades and done very well. And right now the higher drawdown is still from originally Einstein trades that GearBox is managing, as you can see here. These were Einstein, and here's GearBox managing it, took it to level 8 to keep up with it and just help get out of it. But other than that, I mean, that's really been performing. And to get into, like I said, the setup of it's just choosing only those pairs to use, and then understanding why we're using those pairs. And you can see based on the entries, a lot of them are not as high. They're on the lower side of this chart, their average daily range, and they're also pretty liquid pairs. Now, the one thing I will mention is, just like normal GearBox, when using multiple pairs, there is correlation, right? You got to think about. So if you're using instant entry strategy, you're going to want to try to choose 3 of these that aren't as highly correlated. And if you don't know what I mean by highly correlated, I love getting into this kind of education. Now, that's a Neo account. I'll just pull up correlation here. All right. So if we want to find pairs with a lower correlation than, say, for instant entry and skip a level, I'd say 85 and 85, even 90 you could do. But what we're looking at here, and so you can understand, is typically if something is highly correlated, like in this case, AUD CAD has a 91.2% correlation with Euro USD. What this typically is going to mean is that if AUD CAD is going one direction, Euro USD is typically going to go the same direction. Whereas if something's negatively correlated, USD JPY, for example, this is typically saying that if AUD CAD is going one direction, USD JPY is going the other. And because of this, and just like in any software, if something trends for a long time and you get stuck in multiple correlating pairs, you're kind of at the mercy of all of them at the same time. Whereas we're building into GearBox and been working on it very hard. It's getting much closer now. It's a correlation filter that you'll be able to turn on and off, and it'll allow you to be safer in instant entry, skip a level, precision modes. Really going to make a huge enhancement in GearBox. But for now, if you are using instant entry, you kind of are going to want to make sure that the 3 that you choose aren't as correlated, right? That'd be my biggest advice if you do choose instant entry. Most people, I would go with skip a level because it's still waiting a little bit to get into a trade. But at the same time, it's really waiting for volatility, because as soon as it sees some volatility, it knows the market's moving a little bit here. And that's what skip a level's going to be doing for you. Now, if we go back to the VPS, if we take a look, right now we have all of our 3 deployed. So ultimately 3 max pairs deployed. So you can see, though, even if we were to look at some of the other ones, we're all pretty much on many of these pairs 0-0, right? We're actually hedging in this one, right? No, it wants to. It's about to. Same thing here. AUD NZD could be getting into a level right now. Pretty soon, it's in a 0 on both sides. And that's because I'm playing the hour on 3 of them and daily on another. Again, stick to daily. These are me being experimental and having fun as I share these strategies with you, and we continue to gather data, because these strategies, they work. It's just understanding the data, the math behind different currency pairs, your risk. And then if we were to get into the calculator, I want you to understand your risk a little. So give me a second. I'm just going to switch over to my drive real quick. There it is. This is the old one. No, yeah, I want the new one. All right. So if we take a look at this calculator here, This is the GearBox simulation calculator. You can actually choose your gear. So right now you can see mine is currently on skip a level, right? I'm showing you the math here. Of we start after gear 0, meaning we're entering on 1. So after 21 pips, as you see, enter after 21 pips. Starting lot size doesn't actually work in this column. You have to use for anything below a 0.10. You need to use this column for all the proper math to work. So if we are coming in here and say skip a level, and we have 3,000, let's say just euros, for example, as this one's in euros, there's a USD one as well, but it's almost the same. People just like to look at it a little differently. But understanding 3,000 euros, 0.01 starting lot size, we can kind of see where our risk is on one pair. What would it take to blow that account? And the truth is that would come and take 1,125 pips for one pair to do that, right? Well, if you're on 3,000, you're going to be using 3 pairs with that same risk. So let's come down here and look at what 33% drawdown looks like. That's 581 pips. So essentially, what would have to happen for you to entirely blow that account? And another thing that this calculator does not take into account is balance protection, which means you wouldn't even be taking more lots down here anyways, which probably could get you a little further if you guys are understanding what I mean, because you're not putting any more new contracts into the market after, say, 25%. So you wouldn't even enter this trade in the 3 scenarios of multiplying it. So I really think you might actually be able to get more in the 700 range. But let's just say, for example, 581 pips, if you didn't use balance protection at all, is what you could withstand all 3 pairs doing at the same exact time on the $3,000 balance with skip a level. Now, if we go here to say skip a level with only 1,000 and you're running 2 pairs, or even scanning 3, again, I would only use 2, but let's say 2, for example, what is it going to take? 409 on both pairs, and you can still run 2. And again, after 25%, you weren't deploying any more lots. So really, maybe in that case, you also could have made it to 581, but that would have been the extension on this one. And the point in showing you all that is to understand that you can handle some volatility, and that's why we chose the pairs that we chose here, because typically they aren't going to move much more than that. Especially in one direction without an adequate retracement for you to either get out at break even, a small loss, or even profit, right? If they do trend, obviously, anytime something trends, I tell everybody you should be a little more hands-on with your account. If you ever see something trend against you or get you in a more uncomfortable drawdown, you always should understand your risk management strategies. But we can only work to improve our risk, our education, and the data as we continue to study the markets. But the markets go through different cycles. And right now, the past 2-3 months, we've been in major trending cycles on many pairs. And you'll see that we've been in much slower, more consolidated, I'd say, states on some of these pairs lately, where things are still kind of trending, but they're slow trending. Instead of the large trends they were doing, they're now just kind of consolidated and trending in one direction. And it's good, but GearBox specializes in lots of movement. That's where it makes its money. And we go through these different cycles, but they all pick up. So with that being said, that's the risk there on smaller accounts. Now, let's say we want to look at a larger account. And let's say you're doing the 0.3 on a 10,000 euro. All right. Same concept. We're going to come here and look at where about 33% is. So here we're about 282. If you were, oh, that's a 0.3, and that's not what I want. I want 0.03. I was about to say that's way not added up for me. There we go. That looks much better. Much better. Okay. So 10,000 euro, 0.03 starting lot. You're not even in 38% drawdown after 1,000 pips have gone against you. So theoretically, you can handle these pairs making some pretty huge moves. You know, I mean, that's the reality. You have a lot of equity, you have a lot of skin in the game. You can definitely, with a larger balance run, I'd say these strategies a little more carefully, because you're also deploying smaller lots, right? We're also using a much smaller lot size than you would typically be using in precision mode. In precision mode, a lot of people run a 0.01 per 1,000 to 2,000. The reason for that is you're getting in trades later. So essentially, since you don't have the earlier risk deployed, you can deploy the lots later. But same concept, if it goes against you, you have to have a risk management plan and understand what your actual risk is. And in this case, we actually wouldn't even be entering more trades after, say, 25% drawdown. So realistically, you're only scanning 6 pairs and skip a level and trading 3, or you even trading 3 in instant entry, you could withstand large moves. Also note this calculator does not account for stop losses, which are programmed in to the software. I don't know where my VPS is. I guess I closed the VPS to get to the calculator, but it's just brilliant to be able to understand your risk and actually see this and choose your gear entry. And same concept with precision, right? If you wanted to look at, say, something where you're entering after gear 4, and you can just kind of plug in and choose what your risk level is using this calculator. And it really helps you make some more educated decisions. You can see exactly where you're going at what level. So if we're talking entering on level 5, you're waiting 207 pips, right? Whereas skip a level, you're only waiting 21. And you can see all these things inside our calculator and all of that. So I'm going to read through the comments real quick here. I see, where do we download this calculator? I will get you guys the link in the traders chat again. I think it's in there a few times, but if you're not in the GearBox traders chat, definitely want to get in there, James. James said he had over 30% DD recently, was selling pairs for weeks with huge swaps. So really wanting to do precision mode. What mode were you in? You got in 30% drawdown, or is this from Einstein originally? Starting over breaking is better than losing entire balance. Yep, account preservation is the most important thing to trade again the next day. You're talking straight up. I understand that, and yeah, that's where the correlation comes in. I mean, I've gotten in, drawdown on different accounts, and we'll where is my 1500? I want to show you guys something. There it is. Books. That's old. That's not my FX book one I'm looking for. Let's just type it in here. 100. There it is. So this is a more aggressive account I was running. Running 6 pairs on a $1,500 account, trading at the same time in precision modes. And I've ran it through all market cycles, but yeah, and it definitely had its period where what I love to show people is this is what's cool about balance protection mode and actually just understanding your risk. So in understanding all of that risk here, February 2nd, we took huge losses because we were just in this drawdown for large periods and we hit some stop losses. But let's look at this. From November 24th all the way until April, yeah, I was in some drawdown. We took some losses. We made it back, but I want you to take a look at this. And this is the different market cycles. GearBox was 14, 15, 11, 17, 4, and this is all precision mode, 6 pairs. January made no money. February, it took a small loss. March, making money again. April, making money halfway through the month, already did what it did in March. And the point in showing people this is to understand, is this a winning strategy? We won 76% of trades. We've got 3,234 positive pips. Even with the higher risk strategy, GearBox has still gone through all these market cycles, had a 38% drawdown, took losses, still low, averaging over 7% a month, all through different market cycles. And the point is, with any forex trading system, this is what you're going to look to see. And this is a small balance, remember, as well. Obviously, as you use larger balances, I've educated in precision or instant entry or any of these strategies, you should start to lower your lot size. But I love to show people this because this shows people, hey, our goal is to beat the average public American hedge fund's top reported number. And that's typically 55% a year. So from July until now, with a little bit of riskier strategy and a small balance, I've beat that. But then even with a conservative strategy, right? Let's go over to a swing account and let me reload this. This is my 10K swing account. And it's doing the same numbers with lower risk, 3 max pairs. When that account took a loss, this one did too. But guess what? It was a way smaller loss because I was only in 3 pairs and my risk wasn't as high. Because that one was also swing, and swing gets you in sooner. So, but this account's been running swing and 84% since August, 17% drawdown. But yeah, it's gotten in its periods of drawdown. I mean, this drawdown started December 23rd. We swung back February 26th. I mean, that's a month right there. And then we've kind of been floating in and out again, which has been nice. But, even periods here, November 13th to December 7th. I mean, that's a month as well. So the point in showing that is you're going to get into drawdown. There's going to be times where you hold that drawdown and it's going to be boring, but is it going to make you money? Do you understand the risk? I've won 83% of trades on this account. I've got 7,631 positive pips. Low risk conservative strategy. Over a 4 profit factor. Currently, it's in floating profit right now. And if we look at history, same thing. It was doing a lot higher months in September, October, November, December. Going into 2021, it's been a little slower on the profit. Don't get me wrong. But are we still making money? Are we still winning? Absolutely. But you got to understand that GearBox is a more patient strategy. And a lot of people don't have as much patience. So I've been really having to educate on that again lately. As we have a lot of people coming in, they've been seeing the FX books on GearBox, but then they get the impatience of I'm not getting trades in precision mode. And, you go to a riskier strategy. But the truth is, I'm going to tell you on an instant entry call or an intraday call that precisions are the best modes. Instant entry is definitely for you if you want more trades, but again, you're using different pairs. The reason some people got into higher drawdown is correlation with precision, as well as some pairs that we've now eliminated from the equation, which would be JPY pairs for the most part. The yellow pairs here, we're never going to use them on GearBox. I've had an epiphany, and anytime I've ever lost money using any form of counter trend trade system, it's been JPY pairs. So I'm just saying, hey, let's not do it. It's been 3 years of me using softwares, and JPY pairs have never been my friend. So we've eliminated them from the equation, and doing that, we're crushing it. Let's see. I know here's somebody who was running really aggressive originally, $500 balance, got in higher drawdown, had to deposit more funds, put in another 500. But hey, their profit factor is still incredible. They've still won 84% of trades. It wasn't the software that was going to blow their account. It was them that was running, I think like 3 pairs trading at the same time on $500. And it was working. Oh, let's throw in some money and boom, So same concept. It's all about your risk and understanding it. I mean, they were blowing it out of the water with a small account, 41%, 45, 34. And then you see, again, they had a barely profit month. April, they're up 5%, nothing like the 34, but I'm guessing they went back to normal risk. Anytime you get in higher drawdown, you tend to become a little bit lower risk person. And I'd say the same for everybody. I don't know what you mean by possible to expand your screen. Can barely see the details. You mean like Zoom? Actually, I don't know how to do that on this iMac yet. I know I can do it on my MacBook, but I haven't learned how to do the Zoom on my new iMac I got here. So trying to squeeze the little iMouse here thing, and no, not working. So But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the week ahead and do Forex Factory. All right, so we have NZD. So we got CPI, we have NZD pairs here. So hold on, I don't even know what those ones are. Instant entry, there we go. Instant entry. If we take a look here, we got NZD in here twice. So we got a red folder. We come down here, we have CAD in here, we have red folders. We have Euro in here, we have red folders. Got a lot of red folders. This is definitely a volatile week, I would say. And based on that, you can run these strategies. Absolutely. Know your risk management, have your balance. Oh, everyone's ringing me this morning. Have your risk management in place. And that's the key. I mean, I personally, with instant entry, these news events might actually get somebody to trigger some swing and sniper trades that are really great. But if you are using instant entry or skip a level, you know, you're still going to have a great time because you're going to get some volatility, get into some extra levels, which typically bring more profit as long as it doesn't trend against you. But again, that's what balance protection is for. These pairs, we understand the math behind them. And this is, like I said, a little bit more of a riskier strategy than typically precision modes are going to be, just based on the fact you are deploying risk sooner. But we looked at the calculator, you understand your risk. And if you understand your risk, then there's no reason to not go at it. But again, as always, I tell everybody use Intraday as, say, a second license. You should always just let your precision be your baby that runs. And then, you know, if you need that experience of feeling trades constantly and seeing trades and being in the market, then this strategy is for you as well as a second license, and you know, you'll have a great time. But with that being said, thank you guys all so much for spending some time with me. Even if the first few minutes we only got to see the risk disclosure, we will go ahead and take care of that in the edit, and look forward to seeing you on the next one. And remember, the precision call is tomorrow. Look forward to seeing you guys there, because I know many of you are also running your precision strategies. Have a wonderful day.